Foreign Soil is a story of humility, sacrifice, and shoes.
Yeah, exactly.
What do shoes have to do with it?
Shoes, they're sort of symbolic throughout the story. I'm always cutting to the shoes. I'm always showing the mother's shoes, the shoes of the sons, sort of like a recurring theme where in the opening scene in the airport when the family just arrives in Canada from Iran, the mother has these nice black boots on that are heels, and she breaks one of her heels in the airport. So it sort of foreshadows their first few years of experience in their new country.
How much of this comes from your own life experience?
Oh, quite a bit. I always say that it's sort of inspired by my family's true story. Obviously, the details are completely different, but quite similar. For example, like the character in the movie works as a dishwasher, whereas my mother never worked as a dishwasher, but she did work at a convenience store. So similar in that sense. We were, for the first few years when my family arrived in Canada, it was just me, my brother, my sister, my mother. My dad didn't come until a few years later.
Now, growing up here, how much have you kept of your Persian culture?
Quite a bit, I think. Growing up, all we ever did was speak Farsi at home. All we ever do is eat, even to this day, just eating Persian food and that kind of thing. But I don't know. I've got Persian friends, and I've met other Persian people my age who I think have stuck a lot more to it than I have. Like, they listen to Persian bands. They still keep up to date with, I don't know, like the styles back home, everything like that. But I'm not necessarily that much into it, but totally always, if someone asks me what nationality are you, Persian, right away, where are you from? Iran. So in that sense, always very, very outspoken about where I'm from.
So you straddle both cultures?
Yeah. Since I came to Canada when I was so young, I didn't have that hard of a time growing up, and I think my mother and my father as well, to a degree, made that easy for me.
How?
It goes back to the film as well, where there's a younger son in the film, and there's an older son, and there's the mother. And the mother makes sure that her boys have the new shoes, makes sure that they've got like the new Nintendo system, always is aware of them wanting to fit in and not having to be that different from everyone else. And like when I was 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, these kinds of things weren't clear to me. I didn't even think what kind of 7-year-old thinks about, my mother's actively trying to get me to fit in. I just was happy to get my Nintendo system, or you know what I mean? Like the language wasn't that hard for me to pick up either. Like, most people, when the younger you arrive, obviously the easier it is to pick up. So
do you think other immigrants will see themselves reflected in your film?
Oh yeah, totally. And I've seen it firsthand. We've had a few screenings already, like just for private, like a small little theater screening, and I always get at least a few. We usually older, like maybe between 35 to 65-year-old, mostly parents of friends and things like that, will come up to me and totally relate, either firsthand or through a story their grandparents have told them, or one way or another. I think it's really completely relatable.
Well,
the film isn't, the hardships that the family experiences in the film aren't completely extraordinary. They're just kind of simple day-to-day sacrifices that have to be made. It's not as if they're, in the gutter and like completely like stricken, but it's just little simple day-to-day hardships, and I think a lot of people can relate to that.
Where did you shoot the film?
It was partly shot in Mississauga and partly shot at the Pearson Airport in Toronto. I'm from Mississauga, actually, and I just work in Toronto, but I thought that I would feel a lot more comfortable being here. I love the city of Mississauga. I have sort of, since I've grown up here, I've had this strange connection to it all the time. Like I sell it wherever I go. Mississauga, I'm always telling people about it, and I thought that I would be most comfortable. And also, the locations were all favors, and like the restaurant that we shot in, it was a restaurant that I work part-time at. My manager was nice enough to let us shoot there. The living room scenes were in my grandfather's house, for example. One of the scenes in the street were in front of a friend's house, like just because since I know the area as well, it was easier for me to get access. So.
Well, we wish you all the best with the premiere.
Well, thank you very much. And I just wanted to thank the Real World Film Festival and Tanya Lee Williams as well. She has been a great help to me, and really happy to have the premiere at Real World this year.